Hi friends, my name is Sarah, and if you're new here, I am an RN. I did leave the medical field in 2021 for a more natural, holistic lifestyle and also to become a homemaker, homesteader, and we were already homeschooling our oldest, but with our other ones coming up, we felt it was best that we make a big change. And here I am. So I kind of wanted to talk to you today about why we made these decisions to shift our lifestyle so drastically into more natural living lifestyle. So I'm going to go out into the garden. I have a bunch of seeds that I'm going to do once I put baby down for his nap. And I wanted to have a little garden chat with you about how to start natural living. Baby is in bed, so I brought my seeds out here, and I'll kind of show you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. These are just extra seeds that I'm seeing that I needed more of to fill in the gaps in my garden, but for the most part, end of May, everything's pretty much planted. I'm sitting right next to my chickens, so if that's what you're hearing, they're right there. So today I wanted to kind of go through the process that we went through with drastically changing the way that we live by being as natural as possible, which takes a lot of time. Unless you are somebody that has great resources, unlimited resources, really, it's something that happens gradually. So I kind of wanted to give you our story of it and do a series and kind of show you the process of swapping things out and give you our why for changing things. Maybe it can help you and give you encouragement to start making some different decisions, give you some different ideas. So basically, I have been in the medical field for over 20 years. I started as a medical assistant, then I went into the military, into the Navy, and I was a hospital corpsman. I did labor and delivery. We're in paradise. There's a lot of construction that goes around. Dump trucks down the road, if you can hear that. So anyways, I was in the Navy for several years as a hospital corpsman. I did labor and delivery. I did med surge, which is basically those in and out surgeries or really short stays. I was stationed in Lemoore, California, so it's pretty much the armpit of California. A lot of cows. Not a very big naval station. It's an air station. Anyways, while I was in, I challenged the board for my LVN or LPN for somebody outside of California, I believe it's called. And then when I got out, I did the LVN RN program at Sac State and then continued on to get my bachelor's in nursing. Bachelor in nursing. Whew. So to say that this was a drastic change to leave the nursing field is an understatement. But there were a lot of things that were not sitting well with me anymore. And I guess it started with my oldest, she's 12, so 12 years ago. Started looking into what diapers were made of, and that was the first big thing. We ended up cloth diapering, and I've cloth diapered several of my kids. There's actually videos I've done on it, which I'll link below for you if you're interested in that, if you're in that season of life right now. I am not anymore. Yay. But so that was the jumping off point. And from there, I was having a lot of migraines. I've always had migraines my entire life. And I was ending up in the ER quite a bit, getting their little migraine cocktails and being sent home. Nobody could ever tell me what was wrong. And that didn't sit well with me. And I started to realize that a lot of things that we're doing in the medical field is for symptom management, unfortunately. And I'm personally not okay with just doing symptom management. I would like to know the underlying cause of things, what things that I could do to change it outside of a medication, because frankly, I have tried so many and I am allergic to very many. I'm allergic to a lot. My naval dog tags were, I had 2. And they were all the normal ones. Lidocaine. I mean, come on, who's allergic to lidocaine? This girl right here. That's fun. So, and then all of these autoimmune diseases started. So basically going down those rabbit holes of lifestyle changes to make. This did not happen overnight by any means. And clearly I am not done. I don't know if I will ever be done because of how this world is, but all we can do is try and make better for our children. So hopefully you're not overwhelmed when you start seeing things that you're not okay with and you want to start making changes, and you see other people who have made a lot of changes and you may still be on number 1, 2, 3 down the road. It takes time, it takes resources, it's not cheap. You just do what you can when you can, and things like gardening, things like seeds, is an inexpensive way to do things. Even if you just throw it in a pile of dirt in the back and water it, you're probably going to have something. But so today what I'm doing is I'm adding more tulsi, the wonderful wonder adaptogenic herb, and then sweet basil, cooking. I mean, I have tomatoes growing. Why wouldn't I have more basil? Cinnamon basil. This smells heavenly and is great for teas. And then the same thing with lemon basil. I never get enough of chamomile, and I will show you my little chamomile flowers. They're really sad. I have one in front of me. Let me show you that thing. I had to, it's crooked. I had to uproot it and move it, and it's not too happy with me. So I'm planting more of that. And then toothache. This is something that numbs your mouth if you have a toothache. You take a flower and you chew it. Being allergic to lidocaine, my options are clove and toothache plants. So this is a bullseye one. I just like it. I think it's really pretty. And then this is just a yellow one. So those are just things that I'm going to be doing while I'm chatting with you. Making the switch to stay home meant we uprooted, we sold our home in the city, moved out to a more rural part that we could afford to live on 1 income, and we've been here several years now, basically trying to build up the garden and implement things in our little backyard urban homestead, which I will show you shortly. We've added a bunch of fruit trees, just added a few more a couple days ago. I added a passion flower vine that's going to be beautiful. I have my artichokes, my asparagus, things that are perennial that do take time to establish, but that you'll be happy you did years to come. Unlike my berry bushes that have taken over the entire middle of my garden. Maybe I should do a video of things I wish I hadn't have done. And that would be number 1 is the massive amount of blackberries, raspberries, and golden berries that have just boom. So, but I digress. Live and learn, right? So, and that comes back to changing your lifestyle and learning new skills and forging a new path. So it's never going to be perfect. It's never, I shouldn't say never, it's rarely easy, and it usually takes time. You start somewhere. You start with what is your most important? What is your reason? What is your why? Is it somebody got sick? Is it you heard something on the news and you found something out that you just doesn't sit well with you, that really bothers you? But you figure out your why, you figure out your reasoning, and you stick to it, and you continue to implement new things, and you continue to move down that road. And I hope I can take you along on just how to do that. I can show you my ways of doing it, my reasonings of doing it, things that I've swapped out, things that I have yet to do because, like I said, it is a process. I still have so much. Just an example is shampoo. Yes, I could make my own shampoo. Have I had the time? No. But that is on my list. Same thing with conditioners. Same thing with face cleansers. I know all of this stuff, but I have not had the time. I've been, there go the chickens. I've been pregnant and breastfeeding for 8 years now, raising little ones and homeschooling, and it just hasn't, I've made swaps, but I have not done things that is completely, okay, I'm done, I can move on. But things like your food, you start somewhere, you learn to cook a chicken. Wow, they're just going. You learn to cook a chicken from scratch, and then you used to make bone broth from that chicken, or you just stop buying TV dinners and learn how to make dinners, whether it's the same thing every single night or 3 things that you swap out during the week. Same thing with breakfast. Breakfast is my hard one because my kids are picky. And so trying to find swaps for things, which thankfully most of them have grown up not. And this is why you're supposed to have roosters, because hens are mean when you can't have roosters. The pecking order shifts a little bit. They're back there fighting. They're done. They're done. There they go again. If my hose was on, I would stop then. I should tell you, one of my biggest mistakes when I first started, well, it wasn't really a mistake, it was a live and learn, but it was a waste, was when I first started gardening, before I really started cooking from scratch. I had a plethora, because apparently I'm a natural green thumb, of food, and I didn't have a clue what to do with it. So just keep that in mind. Don't start too big like I do. Just keep in mind that you're going to want a way to cook it and preserve, or at least someone to give it to, or someone to come over and show you how to use it, because you don't want to be wasteful either. And then just to get those systems in place. But that is something that I would definitely recommend for you to do. I really hope that no one ever really thinks that natural living means that you have to be perfect. Nobody is perfect in this world, and it, like I said, it's a progress. It takes time. It's a progression of living. You're not going to come out the gate natural. It's just not going to happen. And even then, there's certain things in this world that we are accustomed to or that we need now that will not necessarily fit that bill. There they go. So natural living to me just means being intentional with your life and with the way that you are living that life, and what, as a consumer, and hopefully you become a producer of things and not just a consumer of things. A producer as in gardening, or you learn to knit and crochet. That's something that's more natural. Something for sewing or just other things. Gardening is definitely mine. Herbalism is mine. That's what I've shifted my gears to. I've actually, over the years, I have done a lot of research, I've done separate courses, nothing encompassing. And now I'm actually going back and taking a complete herbalism course. I've realized that even as a nurse, that there's a different perspective I need to learn to take with things. I can't just have the medical model in my head and call it good. I need to actually have that different perspective. And so I am taking courses that could lead to the registered herbalist with the American Herbalist Guild, I believe it's called. But that's probably at least a couple of years down the road with the amount of hours that it takes, and if I even want to go that route. But I can say that you never stop learning, ever, when you're going down this path. There's always something new. These chickens are just crazy. Should I let you in there, Pearl? You teach him a lesson? You be the rooster? So over time, your home will shift, things will stop. Some of the first swaps that I made, especially with learning where my migraines were coming from, were synthetic fragrances. I started with oils. So after the cloth diapers, oils, essential oils was my next rabbit hole. An expensive rabbit hole. So natural living is definitely not about trendy. It's about being present in this life. And it's about teaching my children a different and alternative way to live instead of just relying on the cultural norms, the cultural standards. So this will be the first video in a series on what I plan on doing on just natural living itself, on how to start it and what different swaps I've made and what different things I've found are not worth swapping out at this point in my life, and some of the top 5 things that I would recommend doing first and foremost. At least this is what I did to get as much of the chemical things out of my house, and I'll go over that next. But I hope you feel encouraged with this. I hope that this is something that you will continue to embrace and learn and walk down this path of learning to better yourself and your family in becoming a more natural living person, and also going more towards the producer and not just a consumer in this life. So this will be the first in the series for natural living, and I'll walk you through the day-to-day lifestyle tweaks and changes that we've done from a nurse and herbalist point of view. I'll show things from herbalism to homeschooling to homesteading. I'll show you different rhythms of our life that we have changed, that we have modified to fit this. So I hope that you subscribe and follow along and come alongside this. Let me know in the comments if this is something that you are in the progress of doing, if this is new to you, or if there are specific questions that you may have in this journey. Just realized I did have more starts. I have my lettuce leaf I need to do. Here's my Italian large leaf basil. Hopefully you can see that. When it's bright outside, it's very hard to see in my little screen. So I have that at least. So now I'm gonna go still plant more seeds because there's never enough, there's no such thing as too much basil. So I will see you in the next video.